Oh, here we go.
Now you are.
Oh, there we go. That works. It was a warm July morning when the local pastor pulled his car into the driveway. That was for emphasis, okay? That was all intentional. To the driveway of the filling station where I worked. I was a 15-year-old young man with a summer job at a filling station. You guys remember filling stations? A long time ago.
Yeah.
They've gone away. And my mom had had a 3-year bout with ovarian cancer. She'd been critically ill several times. We'd been told on a couple of occasions that she wouldn't leave the hospital. Each time she rallied, her health got better, she went home. And as a 15-year-old man, I expected the same thing on this day. The look on the pastor's face told me it wouldn't be that way at that time. My mom died that day, and the effects of her illness and her death is what caused me to go into medicine. In fact, I became a motivated young man. I was going to cure cancer. Studied hard in college, got into medical school. But in medical school, I made a very important discovery. That's why I'm here tonight, and I hope a lot of you have already made that discovery. And that's that it's better to prevent a disease than try to cure one, by far. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So that's a little bit about me. That's how I got my start, and that's where my story begins. But let's talk about you. How many of you had diabetes? And high blood pressure? How many of you just don't sleep well at night? Don't sleep well at night. How many of you have too much belly fat? How many of you feel tired all the time? Just don't have the energy you wish that you had. Lots of stuff going on. Is this the way God intended us to be?
No.
Dragging around? Well, there's got to be a pill for it, right?
No.
Okay. That's not the solution we're going to talk about. Do we have a crisis with our healthcare industry?
Yes.
And why do you say that?
I don't
What's the
think-
evidence?
I don't think one physician, because the physicians don't all talk to each other. They don't work, they don't care about, they don't intermingle and look at
The
all
system is not
systems.
integrated.
No.
That's right.
It's not integrated.
Exactly right. What else? What's the other evidence that we have a crisis with our healthcare system?
They order meds too frequently.
Lots of medicines. You have a problem, we have a solution. Write a script out and hand it to you.
Well, all the meds, and I'm dealing with some of the side effects right now, but the meds work for the disease process, but they have side effects that interact with other things, and you end up with so many side effects, you don't know what to.
You have to take some more medicines to cover the side effects.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. So we have a very, very expensive healthcare system. And I'm going to, I have a lot to say tonight, and I just need your permission to go forward and give it to you straight. I can sugarcoat it, or we can do it straight. How do you want it?
Right.
Straight. So we've got a lot of stuff to say, and some of it's not good about the healthcare system, and I'm part of it, so I'm sort of on the inside, got one foot in, one side out, 1 foot out. So these are both industries, huge industries that feed off of each other: the healthcare insurance industry and the healthcare industry, and they're codependent because money flows into the health insurance industry from the government, from you, and from your employers. Money flows from the health insurance industry into the healthcare industry, and that both of these industries are dependent on that flow. If the flow stops, they both suffer, and they're both for-profit industries. Even not-for-profit hospital groups run their hospitals as if they were for-profit. So it's all about the money. So what's the secret? What makes money flow from? We still have a little background feedback, don't we?
Yep.
That's good. I'm glad it's not my ears.
No, it's not.
Good. What's the secret of making money flow from the healthcare insurance industry to the healthcare industry? What makes money go from one to the other?
The patient.
Patient. That's right. And do these industries benefit the most if you're a little sick, or real sick, or really, really sick? It does matter. The sicker you are, the faster the money flows.
Oh.
Right? So you guys get it. So, and everybody knows that profit motives work, right? That's universally accepted in business. Profit motives work. So are we going to depend on these two industries to get us into wellness? You've all given me evidence, or most of you have, raised your hands at one of those points, that something's not going right with your body. And those things that you raised your hands for are signposts along the road. And it's the path of increasing disease and illness. And you just told me that you're seeing signposts of that going on. And my goal and what I do in my clinic is try to get people onto the path of wellness. And that's, do you want to have a healthy, prosperous future?
Yes.
Anybody signing up for that? I hope so. I hope so. And is the healthcare industry or the health insurance industry going to help?
No.
No, they're not. So that's pretty clear, right? So if I can make the clicker work here, we're going to move right along. Well,
Probably on the table.
here we go. Not there yet. How do you back up? New clicker. We don't want that yet.
The American Health.
Take just a minute to queue up. So we're going to look at something called the wellness gauge, and it's really pretty self-explanatory. There's a green area on one side, a yellow area, and an orange area, and it's going to come up in just a minute. But this is just an explanation of the different states that we're in and the different places we are on the path. And if we're on the path to increasing disease and disability and illness, it tells us where we're at. So the green is as God made us. You know, God made us a wonderful work when He made human bodies. We're self-correcting, and if you put the right enough of the good stuff in and don't put too much of the bad stuff in, our bodies heal themselves. All right. So we're going wrong because we don't have the balance right. But in the green is when you have the balance right, your body's healing itself. Things go wrong, but they correct themselves. All right. Then you start to get disease. Years happen. Disease happens. You move from the green into the yellow. And there's a scale there. So green, yellow is bad things happen. This is where you have a diagnosis. You have a disease. You don't have the energy you used to have. You're not sleeping well at night. All the signs along the path that say things aren't going well for me. And then things get worse. You get into the orange. That's where you have multiple diseases. You're feeling worse and worse. You notice the difference month to month, year to year. You're going downhill. And then things get even worse, and you get in the red. And the red is where nobody wants to be. It's what I call RIA, riding in an ambulance. This is where you need acute intervention or you're going to suffer disease or disability as a result of your current situation. So that being said, you guys all have it in your mind's eye. We're going to see it again in a minute. How many of you are in the green? You feel like things are going well, your body's healing itself, and everything's good? Somebody in the green? Milo?
Well, I think I'm close. Yeah.
Close to green. All right. All right. How many in the yellow? Things aren't going as well as you hoped, and you notice that things are going downhill. How many of you in the orange? And you'll admit it. All right. You having trouble hearing me?
Yeah, only because my hearing aids were eating up my batteries.
Uh-oh.
They had to ship them off.
All right, well, I'll try to turn toward you. Can you read my lips?
I could talk in her ear.
All right, so this is the wellness gauge, and we talked about the green and yellow and orange, and then there's the red. I just don't have the hang of this pointer yet. Red is RIA, riding an ambulance, and so you guys all get that, and nobody's in the red, right?
Been there, done that, but it's all right now.
Good, because if you're in the red, you're disqualified from dinner. But I can help you. I can help you. I know CPR, so we can help you from the red.
Good.
All right. So that's one question about the wellness gauge. I have 3 more questions about the wellness gauge. Real easy questions. Second question is, where do you want to be?
Green.
Pretty easy question, right? Everybody wants to be in the green. All right. So third question is, which direction are you going? You tell me where you're at, where you want to be. How many of you are moving to your right and you know it? Things are getting better. In the last 6 months, you've made decisions to get your health better, and you know you're moving in the right direction.
In some ways, yeah, in some ways.
You're stuck. All right. How many of you are moving left? Or how many are stuck? Stuck. So a lot of people not where you want to be and just not moving anywhere. So the fourth and final question about the wellness gauge, and this is a complicated question. It's got a 2-part answer. The first question is, who is going to make this happen for you?
Me.
That's right. Exactly right. You guys are smart. This is going to be a good talk. We're going to move right along here. I'm not going to have to wait long for the answers. You guys know the answers. It's up to you. It's not going to be the healthcare system, not your doctor, not anything else. It's up to you. And the second part of this question, who's going to help you get there?
You.
It's up to you, but who's going to help you? That's right, me. That's right. That's right.
You know, the reason is that in Abilene, there isn't half as many physicians. We're from New Orleans originally, and we're so used to having physicians, and, I'm having some GI issues, and I can't see a physician till May 21st.
Right. Well, that's.
And I keep calling the office and finding they're like, we'll go to the ER. Well, what
Right.
is the ER gonna do?
Right.
You know?
So the whole system is broken, and then,
Yeah.
and that's my point, you get it,
It is.
and doctors aren't available, and when doctors are available, a lot of times they don't take you down the wrong path, down the right path. You know, what needs to be done is we need to discover the root cause of what's going wrong, and that's what we're gonna talk about tonight, is how to get to the root cause, instead of giving you Band-Aids, pills, and medicines to cover up the problem, what's going on. We need to get to the root cause of what's going on.
They
So,
need to be more interested in the patient to do that.
that's exactly right. So my intention, and I'm just gonna be real straightforward, because some of you guys are wondering, why is he feeding me dinner? What's he up to? I'm not gonna sell you life insurance or timeshares or anything like that. But shucks, yeah. But I do have a motive, and I'm just gonna be real straightforward with it, is I want you guys to sign up for consults in my office. I enjoy doing this talk. This is public education, and I like bringing my bit of information to the world, and this is the forum for me that I can talk about my view of health and healthcare. I much more enjoy though when you come into my office, I can sit down and get to know you and what's going on with your health. And that's my whole motive tonight, is to get you to sign up for a consultation in my office. We'll talk about it. It's low cost, it's really easy, and we'll talk about that kind of at the end of the talk. So is that all right with you guys?
Sure.
So that's
Yeah.
that's the only motive. No timeshares will be involved. All right, guaranteed. And I also want to say that I talk a lot about the healthcare system and what goes wrong with it. I'm not talking about anybody's doctors, okay? You know, doctors aren't the main problem in the system. They're just part of a huge system, and they're really cogs in the wheel. They're really just pawns in a huge industry. And it's not your doctor's fault. I've just chosen a different path for myself. All right? I don't get it. There we go. I need a tutorial, Robert. Not working for me. So maybe I should just come over here and press this. I had it on there and it wouldn't. The magic thumb, that's the one I was fishing. Okay, so this is my family. You've already met my wife, and we have 10 kids. I've been busy. 7 of our own kids, and we adopted 3 children. With some of these older children, I had my own health challenge. We always loved Colorado. We loved going to Colorado. We hiked in Colorado, and we went every summer. And you know, hiking in Colorado is usually not a matter of hiking; it's a matter of hiking. And so I'd always been the alpha dad. Come on, you guys, pick it up. You've had long enough for break. You know the feeling? Yeah. So, and some of you guys had dads like that, or you know dads like that. And I'd always pushing the kids. That's long enough for break. Let's go. But the kids got a little bigger and they got stronger legs. In between a couple summers went by and we went hiking again, and they got in front of me, and they're just getting further and further ahead of me, and trail got steeper and they got quicker and I got further behind, and I decided I'm going to catch up with them. I'm the alpha here. I can do this, and so I just pushed myself until I got so short of breath I didn't know where the next breath was coming from. You know, we were at elevation and it's a steep hill. And I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that, just the panic, you know, and my chest got tight and I just felt like things were unwinding. Well, things worked out that day okay. I got them to wait for me. I got ahead of them, so they had to go at my pace instead of me at their pace. But I kind of got a really important lesson that I didn't forget, because I saw what it was like for my family to go on without me, and I did not like the way that felt. So I got motivated. I lost weight. I started exercising, started eating right, and ultimately that memory in my mind caused me to jump on the opportunity when I had the chance to study anti-aging medicine, because I've always had the feeling that American medicine is not doing everything it could to get us on the path to wellness. And I was a primary care doctor. This should have been my job. And I just felt like I didn't know what I needed to know to share with my patients. When I saw that there was a specialty of anti-aging and wellness medicine, I thought this is my chance. And the memory of that episode stuck in my head, and it's always motivated me to try to do better for myself and try to gather information so I can help my patients do better too. It worked that time. Yep, no sound.
We're in the grip of a very big industry, and it doesn't want to stop making money.
If I spend 5 minutes with you and then put in one of these stents, I'll probably get paid $1,500. For me to spend 45 minutes with a patient to try to figure out what their true problem is, probably get paid $15. It's a completely irrational system.
We don't have a healthcare system in this country. We have a disease management system.
We're spending almost twice as much in America as any other country on earth, but our lifespan isn't even in the top 20.
30,000 Medicare recipients die each year from care they didn't need. That's the equivalent of a jumbo jet crashing every single week. If the aviation industry killed as many people, we'd be up in arms.
The administration pays you based on how many patients you see. All right, who's next? If you try and buck the system, someone says, what can we do to get your productivity up? I'm not interested in getting my productivity up. I'm interested in helping patients.
We're seeing the military just being a microcosm of the problem society's having.
Soldiers' use of prescription drugs has tripled in the past 5 years.
The medications I was on.
Only by accepting that the American healthcare system is badly broken will we be able to seek out the escape fires, the potential solutions. There are answers.
One company has figured out how to lower healthcare costs by more than 40%.
We provide incentives for people to engage in healthier behaviors.
The Army Surgeon General directed that we establish the Pain Management Task Force to take a look at alternatives to narcotics.
I was skeptical, so skeptical.
I've gotten a lot of inspiration, a different perspective. There's a different way of doing things that is possible.
If I think about what healthcare could be like, it would have a lot more care in it.
The healthcare system is unsustainable. We're really mortgaging the future. Not just the health of healthcare, we're talking about the health of the nation.
So that cuts right to the point. That's the perspective that we have to have. So we're going to launch into this. This is the educational part of the talk. And I'm going to talk about the 4 vital systems that have to work together, that we have to have fixed for our bodies to be well, to get us off the path of disease and illness and get us on the path of wellness. There's 4 critical systems. The first system is information systems. This is your DNA. This is your blueprint that God gave you. Amazing, amazing blueprint. Back when I was in medical school, we were all full of ourselves because we'd studied the link between a lot of diseases and the genetics. And the saying was, your DNA is your destiny. That was 35 years ago. Today, we know better than that. Your DNA is not your destiny. There's something that's even more important than your DNA. How many of you have heard the word epigenetics? Be watching for it. It'll be in Reader's Digest and Time Magazine or something like that. This is a big word. This is the system that controls your DNA. It's the reader of your DNA. And it turns on and off in different parts of your body at different times. It's what's responsible for all the cells in your body, which all have the same DNA, being different, having different proteins and having different functions. It's epigenetics. And epigenetics is something that you control. You can turn these switches on and off. And basically the path that you're on is based on your epigenetics. By the lifestyle you live, the toxins that are in your body, the stress, the kind of diet that you eat, the nutrients that you absorb or don't absorb, balancing your hormones, and a dozen other switches. Turn the epigenetics on and off to get you on the path to wellness, or the path, keep you on the path to illness. And so the important point here is your DNA is not your destiny. Your future health destiny is in your own hands. All right, so we need to get rid of a lot of the pessimism. And out there in the medical community, there's a lot of, that's what people tell me. You can't change people's lifestyle, get them any better. They're not going to change their diet. You're not going to get healthier. We've seen it hundreds of times. People do get better. Diseases do go away. You address the underlying cause. You change their epigenetics, and they get well. Does that make sense? I'm covering this pretty fast.
Yeah.
Is this pace okay? Second system, the energy systems. This is something we all take for granted. Let me give you an example of that. Where does all the energy that we use, that we're using right now, human bodies use all the time, where does all that energy ultimately come from? Where does it ultimately come from? It's a tricky question. Well, in a way. It's out there right now. The sun. Who said sun? You get a free meal tonight. Excellent. So that's true, and we take it for granted. We don't think through all the process that has to happen for us to have energy, but all the energy that we use all the time ultimately comes from the sun. So plants, by a process called photosynthesis, with a molecule called chlorophyll, capture energy from the sun. That energy in chlorophyll is caused to join carbon atoms together. These carbon atoms are joined together, and we ingest them, and they circulate to part of our cell called the mitochondria. And in the mitochondria, we break those carbon atoms apart. And that's how energy is released, and that's how we get all the energy in our body. So why are we even talking about energy systems? It's great, it's glorious, it's amazing how it works. But it's important to us for two reasons. One, if you don't have all the nutrients, enzymes, minerals, coenzymes that you need in your body to transfer that energy, once it's broken apart and released, that energy gets loose. And that loose energy damages your cell. It's called reactive oxygen species. And this is what antioxidants do. You've all heard the word antioxidants, right? Antioxidants. This is why antioxidants are important. They mop up loose energy before that loose energy can damage your cells. It damages the mitochondria, the cell membrane, the DNA. A lot of DNA damage can turn into cancer. So antioxidants are extremely important. So to be well nourished, have all the antioxidants that you need are vitally important. And if you don't have all the nutrients in place, you up the amount of reactive oxygen species the damage is done. So energy systems are vitally important. And if the system's not working right, guess what? You don't have energy. Right? Makes sense. And we all want energy. And I think some of you raised your hand earlier if I asked if you had enough energy. So that's the second system, energy systems. Third system, there we go. Protection systems. This is our immune system. We're all alive today simply because our immune system's working. If our immune system shut down totally, even with modern medicine and antibiotics, we might last 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Now, you've all heard of bubble babies? Yeah. These are babies that are born without an immune system. They have to live in an enclosed, sterile environment, and they live until they get out of the sterile environment, and then they die. So our immune system's vitally important. Mess that up. I think we have a gremlin somewhere here. So our immune systems are vitally important. So why are we talking about immune systems? What goes wrong with our immune systems? One really important point. Part of your immune system is your fight or flight system. You guys have all heard of that. And this is an ancient system to enable us to react to a physical danger, a physical threat that we're facing. And when we face a physical threat, our adrenal glands secrete epinephrine and cortisol. The epinephrine raises our blood pressure, shunts blood to our peripheral muscles, gets us ready to react. And the cortisol that's mobilizes energy, breaks down muscle, breaks down glycogen, and causes your blood glucose to go up so that you have sugar available to run your muscles when you need to react. So why is that a problem? How many of you faced a physical threat this week? That's unusual. This month, I mean, we have very rare physical threats. Fortunately, Debbie's rare among us. So we don't have to react very often to physical threats. But what kind of threats do we face? Fox News, CNBC. It's always out there. Always bad stuff happening all the time.
You face it in a car.
That's right. All the time.
Face it all the time in a car.
All the time. That's right. Life or death situations every day, going up and down the freeway, you make a bad decision, somebody else makes a bad decision. Somebody could die. That's stressful, and we don't think about it. And that ups our cortisol level. So what happens? What's the problem with this? So if our cortisol level's gone wacky because we're pouring it out all the time because we're stressed, cortisol is not there to do all the other important stuff that cortisol does for us. And it's a critical hormone. It's the master hormone. It controls all your other hormones. If your cortisol is wacky because you're stressed all the time, none of your other hormones are going to be right. Cortisol is also an immune modulator, and it controls your immune system. And if your cortisol is all wacky, your immune system's not going to react like it should. And it can go one of two ways. If your cortisol is wacky, you overreact and your body starts making antibodies to your own tissue. It's called autoimmune disease. Very, very common in America these days. And if it reacts the other way, you're not reactive enough, then you catch every disease that comes along. And part of your immune system also is the immune surveillance system. Part of your immune system is going around looking for mutated cells, cells that are potentially cancer cells. And it takes them out. And if cortisol is not there to do the immune modulation, your immune surveillance system doesn't work. And bingo, you've got cancer. So all these things are related to our immune system, how well it works and doesn't work. Make sense? it's how I hold my tongue. Robert, how do you hold your tongue when you do it? Huh? Display the point on the computer, okay. All right, we're switching to the default mode here. We're going to punch the computer and forget to do a mouse. All right, so this is the fourth system, signaling system, as implied by this picture. This is the cockpit. This is how your body controls itself. A lot of information comes in, just as in a cockpit, and a lot of information and control goes out. We think of our brains controlling our bodies through our nervous system. You know, when I move my hand like this, because my brain's sending signals down my nervous system to the muscles, and it's causing my hand to do different things. But our body controls itself not by nervous system, not through nerves, but by chemical signals. And these chemical signals are called hormones. So why is this important? Why are we talking about it? Because we have epidemic problems with hormones these days. And it's really multifactorial. There's not a simple answer why, but there's society-wise evidence that our hormones are out of whack. And we're aging rapidly, and a lot of us are on the path to increasing disease and illness because our hormones are out of whack. And the path to have the most prosperous future, which is the path to wellness, involves managing hormones and making sure your hormones are optimized. So we're going to talk about 5 hormones now. And we've already talked about cortisol, vitally important master hormone, and it gets messed up in all of us because of stress, and there's something called adrenal fatigue, where people's cortisol gets exhausted. Your ability to produce cortisol gets exhausted, and you can't react anymore. And some of the testimonials here are people that had adrenal fatigue, and the medical system doesn't believe in it. You know, they think it's in your head. It's not a real condition, but it is a real condition. So it's real important, and you're not going to have a healthy future if you don't manage your cortisol, if you don't know where it's at. Second hormone we're going to talk about is insulin. There was a diabetic in the crowd, right? So if you don't have enough insulin in your body, or if you're insulin resistant, you're a diabetic. And insulin is secreted by beta cells of the pancreas. In response to elevated blood sugar, your pancreas pours out insulin to lower your blood sugar. It opens up gates in your muscles, in your liver, and in your fat cells that take sugar out of your blood. So your blood sugar goes up, you make insulin. The insulin lowers your blood sugar by opening up cells, and the sugar goes into the fat, liver, and muscle cells in your body. So, and if you, there's an epidemic of it's called diabetes, because people are overweight, they become insulin resistant, and since they're insulin resistant, their pancreas is having to work so hard all the time that it wears out, and it can't make enough insulin to keep up anymore, and you've got diabetes. And it's an epidemic, especially it's going to be an epidemic with young people, because they have a lot of weight and a lot of problems going on.
If you're insulin resistant, do you ever recover from that?
You sure can. You sure can. If your pancreas is plumb wore out and it's not making insulin anymore, that's hard to recover from. But if you're just insulin resistant, you can recover from that. Absolutely. Great question. Third hormone we're going to talk about is thyroid hormone. This is the thermostat hormone of your body. It turns the metabolism on. Every cell in your body has a thyroid receptor, and for that cell to have normal biochemical action, normal metabolism, it has to have an activated thyroid hormone attached to that receptor. And this is epidemic in our country, just like other hormone problems, because of lack of iodine, because of toxins interfere with the manufacture of thyroid hormone. They interfere with the conversion of thyroid from inactive to active thyroid hormone, and toxins that block the receptors. And so it's a big problem. And if your thyroid is messing up, it's not working for you. 1, you're not going to have energy. 2, you're going to store that energy. What's another word for stored energy? Fat. That's right. Fat. So that's bad news. So that's the third hormone we're going to talk about. So the fourth and fifth hormone are the stars of the show. Anybody want to guess what we're going to talk about? Huh? Testosterone and estrogen. That's it. That's funny. The women said testosterone, the man said estrogen. We switched it up there. All right. So there's a man in New York City, an entrepreneur, and he decided there's too many single men in New York, too many single women in New York City, and he decides he's going to open up a husband store. Real simple rules. 6-story building, major street, Manhattan. Simple rules. You can go to any floor you want to, any one of the 6 floors, and pick out your husband, but you can't go back to the previous floor. So our young lady goes into the husband store, and she's going to pick out a husband. First floor, she finds men who have jobs. She's pretty happy about that, but she knows she's got other options. So she goes to the second floor. There she finds men who have jobs and love kids. Well, that's great. She's excited about that because she's hoping there's some kids in her future. But she knows she has other options. She goes to the third floor and finds men who have jobs, love kids, and good looking. Now, what else can there be? You know, she's got her purse out digging in it, but she thinks, I got to know what's on the other floor. So she goes to the fourth floor, finds men who have jobs, love kids, good looking, and they help with chores. Only the women get that one. And she's excited about that, but she wants to know what's on the fifth floor. So she goes to the fifth floor. There she finds men who have jobs, love kids, good looking, help with chores, and they're incurable romantics. Flowers all the time. Can I help you, honey? Let me give you a back rub. Let me rub your feet. Yeah, unbelievable. So she's going to make her purchase. Oh, what's on the sixth floor? So she goes to the sixth floor. There she finds a sign. Welcome to the sixth floor. You're the 35 millionth visitor. There are no men on this floor. This is for women who can't be satisfied. So the same man decides this is gender bias. He opens up a husband's store. A wife's store just across the street. Same rules. You can go to any floor you want to, make your purchase, but you can't go back to the previous floor. So our young man is going to go purchase a wife. He goes into the wife's store. On the first floor, he finds women who like sex. He's got his wallet out. He's counting the bills out, about to make his purchase. And there he remembers, have other choices. So he goes to the second floor. He finds women who like sex and have money. He makes his purchase there. We don't know what's on the other floors. Nobody's ever been there. So we love the differences between men and women. And these hormones are responsible for it. Men are pretty simple. Women not so much. So is there any controversy about replacing hormones? Let's start with women. You heard anything bad about hormone replacement? What have you heard? Cancer. Blood clots. What else? What have you heard? Heart disease. All those things are out there. There was a big study called the Women's Health Initiative in 2003, and it was supposed to answer the question once and for all, should women get hormone replacement? And the conclusion they came to was no, they should not. Increase blood clots, increase breast cancer, increase heart disease. In 2013, another study came out in a major journal, the American Journal of Public Health, and they came to the conclusion that about somewhere as many as 90,000 women in the United States have died because doctors followed the advice of the Women's Health Initiative. In other words, they turned it upside down. Not replacing hormones is causing women to die. And the problem with the Women's Health Initiative, it was the wrong hormones by the wrong route to the wrong population of people. If you look at just strictly bioidentical hormones, which is all we use, and you look at using them by the right route, that's the most metabolically precise, there is no increase in breast cancer, there is no increase in heart disease, or increase in blood clots. It's all bad hormones that cause all that stuff. And so there's a lot of bad information out there. A lot of doctors haven't been updated. They know about the Women's Health Initiative, and that's all they know. They don't know the more current data that bioidentical hormones given right are safe and actually improve women's health future. So why should a woman think about replacing her estrogen? What are the benefits? You guys know any of these? Bones. Bones. Yeah, prevent osteoporosis. It keeps your bones strong.
Oh, bones.
That's huge. Brain helps prevent dementia and depression. Very huge. Huge function. And there's some 4 other functions of estrogen. Without any estrogen in your body, you don't get those functions. And I think that it's a good conclusion, and a lot of science supports it, that with hormone replacement, you have a better, more prosperous future than without it. And it does not increase your risk of heart disease or breast cancer if it's done right. Okay?
Right.
So that's good news, and I'd like for you to come to the office and talk about it.
Yeah.
What about men replacing testosterone in? Any controversy? A few years ago, there was ads on TV. I don't know if you saw them, but if you've taken any form of testosterone and ever had a heart attack, call so-and-so law firm. And that was based on 2 studies that were, again, bad studies. They were HMO studies. They didn't have real live patients. They just mined data out of an HMO and VA study. There were 2 of them. And they came to the conclusion that there was an association between taking testosterone and having a heart attack. The problem is that they didn't adjust for the other risk factors, because men who got testosterone who already have heart disease, they can't take the other things for erectile dysfunction. And a lot of men got testosterone who already had heart disease. And there was more people in the study group than in the control group that already had heart disease. So of course they had more heart attacks. And there's been a lot of editorials that said that those studies should be withdrawn. And all the data since then indicates that testosterone replacement done right, the right kind of hormone, by the right route and the right dosage, is safe for men. Does that make sense? All right, so a lot of stuff going on. What goes wrong? We have 4 systems, 5 key hormones. What goes wrong with all these systems and with our hormones to make us sick? Well, we don't eat right. Number 1 take-home point for today, if you want to optimize your future health, if you want to give yourself the best chance of being healthy 5 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, you need to optimize your diet. And I don't mean, by optimize, I don't mean eat a little better. I mean eat really good. And that's not eating cardboard and celery all the time. It's a delicious, healthy diet. You can have some meat, you can have fish. A good, perfect diet doesn't have to be distasteful. You need all the nutrients for all the reasons we've already talked about to support the systems and what's going on. What goes wrong with these systems? Wrong or lacking information. You guys have all seen this. The ab buster, the infomercial. The model gets up on this and shows off his or her abs and acts like they got these abs on this thing. It's all marketing, sales. That's only the tip of the iceberg. You guys like the pharmaceutical commercials? They're great entertainment value. How do they go? The guy says the name of the medicine, tells you about a sentence about why you should take it, and 1,000 side effects. And how does it always end? Death. That's right. That's exactly right. It all gets worse and worse and worse until he says death. But how does this work? These people spend billions of dollars advertising medicines to the public. What's going on the screen while he's saying all these bad things? What's the visual?
They're happy? Yeah, happy.
They're extremely happy. It's a fulfilling, prosperous life. Everything's good. Playing with your kids, running through a field of flowers, sitting in tubs side by side, holding each other's hands.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So they know exactly on the beach. They know exactly what they're doing because 5 years from you seeing that ad or 10 years from seeing that ad, you're going to remember 2 things: the name of the medicine and the positive association from the visual. You won't remember any of the other stuff you said. So they've created in your mind a positive association with that medicine, and they've tricked you. They've got inside your head for their marketing purposes. Do we need to trust this system to get us better?
No.
No, we don't. Stress, physical stress. Trauma of all sorts puts us at risk for future health injuries. Joint injuries, of course, put us at risk for arthritis. Head injuries actually put us at risk for dementia. After age 50, if you have a concussion, you substantially increase your risk of dementia in the future. So we need to take good care. Don't ride your bike without helmets, and don't let your kids play football. We can discuss that later. I was at this weekend at a talk and heard Daniel Amen. I don't know if you know him or not, but he's sort of the king of the brain gurus, and he says ping pong's the sport we ought to be teaching our kids. Good eye-hand coordination, and there's no head injury risk. I guess you could fall down or hit the table, but not very likely. Chemical stress. How many of you think we live in a toxic world? Absolutely we do. There's toxins out there. When they check umbilical cord blood for toxins, there's been several studies where they did this. They found between 200 and 250 foreign substances in the baby's body. This baby's never seen the world. This is stuff that he got through his mother. It's amazing. It's a toxic world. And are these toxins affecting us?
Yeah.
Absolutely they are, in a lot of ways. And the medical industry is in denial. Emotional stress. This is what we all think about. How many of you have stressful lives? Stressful lives. Stressful lives. The rest of you just don't know it, okay? My wife told you the story about... We went to Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. We went there with 5 kids, 2 in diapers. Didn't know the language, didn't know the culture. We had to prepare food from bags of flour, bags of rice, and vegetables on the street, meat hanging in the meat market. How many of you think that sounds stressful? Best years of our life. How could that be? We weren't in America. The land of opportunity is also the land of stress. And we just don't realize all the time our fight or flight system's turned on and we're stressing ourselves out. Number 2 point, take home point. First one was eat right, optimize your nutrition. Second one is deal with stress. Believe that you have it, believe that it's going to affect your future health if you don't, and deal with it. You guys on board with that?
Yes.
All right. What else goes wrong? Hormones. I've already mentioned hormones. One of the things that happens as we age is muscle building, body repairing hormones go down. Fat building, body tearing down hormones go up. So naturally, it results in a bad consequence as we age. And manipulating or replacing hormones are very important consideration. And hormonal problems can end up with different kinds of body types. Okay, we're not proactive. We're depending on the medical industry or things that we find on the internet or some magic pill that we see at GNC to fix our health. It's not happening, right? We have to be proactive. Not like this guy. This is walking the dog.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of the same approach a lot of Americans take to health. So the missing pieces. So what's the solution? So we talked about these 4 critical systems, about how they fit together, how they're self-repairing if things are in balance. And we talked about why they're not in balance. What are we doing wrong that makes us not well? So what do? It's complicated. There's a lot of pieces to this. I'm sorry, I'll try to move around some. I can't move as much as usual because of my pointer. So there's a lot of pieces, and that's where people fail, because it's too fragmented. You need to treat the whole person by putting the pieces together. You need a system that pulls all these pieces together. And this is actually from a study. 94% of the time when people made health-related behavior change, they failed, usually because they get on a diet and not addressing the rest of the system, or they start exercising. They're not doing anything else, not taking the right nutrients, not eating well, and it causes failure. So the solution is to put all the systems together, all the pieces together in a system. And that's what we do. We call it the house of health. We start with detox, because getting the toxins out and getting your gut well, getting your liver well is vitally important. It's the foundation upon which all the rest is built. Diet. Once you've got the toxins out, you have your liver working well, your gut's well, you're ready to absorb nutrients, and so you start eating well. And we specialize in teaching people how to eat. And there's not a one-size-fits-all diet. You get the latest book, and it seems like just, South Beach diet is just the diet for everybody. Not so. We're all metabolically different. That's genetics, and that's training, and there's a diet that's good for you. It's going to be healthy for you too. Exercise. I mentioned epigenetics earlier. There's a lot of reasons why to exercise. One of the real key reasons to exercise is because of epigenetic switches. You're not going to optimize your future health if you're not exercising. Vitally important. Just has to happen. Another reason to exercise, and this is a key word here, BDNF, a key phrase I guess I should say, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It won't be on the test. BDNF. It won't be on the test, don't worry.
Yeah, but I don't understand.
Brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This is what gives us hope for our brains. This is what makes us neuroplastic. This is how our brains repair themselves. This is how your brain can continue to learn as you age. That's why you don't just go downhill. You activate BDNF and you plateau out. You don't get worse as you age. You can stay the same, and even in some situations get better. And exercise activates BDNF along with other things. We teach a lot of stuff like that in my clinic. Hormones, balancing hormones. So this is the house of health. Those are the 4 pillars of health. The roof over the house is the brain. It protects everything else, and it's supported by other pillars. We could go on and on about the brain, but we won't talk much about it. But a lot of us are going to lose our prosperous, healthy future because of our brains. Our brains going bad. They're not going to be there for us. Alzheimer's in epidemic proportions, and it's getting worse. Has to do with all the other factors we talked about. And the foundation of the house is spiritual. People who live long and well have a purpose for living. And you have to ask yourself, when I want to live long and well, what is it that God's not through with in me? What does He want me to do? And if you have an answer to that question, you've got a good foundation for building a house on, a house of health. All right, I love this quote because I love trees. Don't we all wish we planted trees 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Don't we all wish that we'd taken action for our health 20 years ago?
Yeah.
It's too late for that. What's the second best time to take action on your health? And who's responsible? That's right, you guys got it. We can have dinner now.
Smells good too.
Yeah, it will be good. Don't be like this fat cat. So you have to take action. You can't just sit and wait for things to happen to you. I mean, you can, but that's not going to change the path that you're on. So this is kind of the end of the talk. We're getting real close to dinner time, and I just need your permission to make an offer to you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
You good with everybody? How many think it's a good idea to come into my clinic for consultation at this point in time? Good. You guys are sold. I'm happy. Good for you guys. All right, so when you come into the clinic, we have a curriculum. We know we know the questions that need to be answered in regards to your health. We know the test that we need to do, we know the action that needs to be taken, and we know the information that we need to give you. All right, we set it all up in a curriculum, and it's easy as ABC 1, 2, 3. This is not hard for me. I've been doing it for years, and I enjoy doing it. But doing it on your own is tough. You know, when I was a younger man, I thought I wanted to be a pilot, not like a commercial airline pilot. I thought I'd like to own a little small plane and fly around. It seemed really cool. And I took lessons several times, and each time I got too busy. Just about the time I was going to solo. You know what soloing is? That's the first time you go up. So how many of you guys, just put yourself in a scenario for a minute. I'm excited. My instructor says I'm ready to solo. How many of you want to go up with me? Nobody. If you've got any brains at all, you don't want to go up with me. Why not?
Because you need mistakes.
That's right, because I'm not experienced and I haven't been thoroughly trained by a mentor, right? And I'm not ready to take you because your life would be at risk. Guiding your health is the same way. Your health and your life is at risk if we don't make the right moves. And this is not something you need to do without a mentor, a guide. And that's my job. That's what I want to do. Can you predict the future of your health care?
No.
You would think so, but the screen says yes, so let me explain. So, and it seems random because you guys all know somebody that's 45 years old that drops dead of a heart attack, and that seems random, or somebody like my mother that gets cancer at a young age that shouldn't have gotten it. And it seems pretty random, but those things, they don't happen for no reason. You know, bad things happen for a reason, and we can take the reasons out by taking care of our health, by getting on the path to wellness, getting the toxins out of our life, balancing our hormones, eating the right nutrition, and detoxing ourselves, dealing with all the factors that we can. All these epigenetic knobs that can be turned to optimize our future health. We give ourselves the best chance of not having a catastrophe in the future. And we definitely can get ourselves out of the category of wear and tear and degenerative diseases by taking action on our health. Does that make sense? So order the correct test, determine the true underlying cause. We don't want to just get the numbers better and the symptoms. We want to correct the underlying cause. Address the whole body and mentoring. So when you come in for your consultation, I'm just going to do some real quick explanations and then it's dinner time. What's the catch? Can I help everybody?
No.
No? But that's the bad news. This is the good news. For the most part, you self-select. The people who are willing to take action are the people I can help. The people who won't take action are the ones I can't help. So you self-select. What's it going to be like when you come into my office? You're going to meet the rest of my office staff. You're going to see our facilities. We've grown, so we've got two different buildings across the parking lot from each other, and you'll get a tour of that. And while you're getting the tour, I'm going to go over the paperwork. You're going to fill out a lot of paperwork ahead of time. I'm going to go over that so that I'll kind of know you and know a little bit about your story. Be ready to ask you some more questions. So we're going to sit down knee to knee. I'm going to talk about your health, challenges, and what's going on, why you might not be on the path to wellness right now, and what we can do to get you on the path to wellness. This is an exciting meeting. It's exciting for me. Does that sound exciting to you?
Yeah.
I hope so, because it's a lot of fun, and I hope to see you there. So frequently asked questions. People ask, do I take insurance? It's not that I don't take insurance, but insurance just doesn't cover what I do. I spend a lot of time with people, a lot of one-on-one. We have whole systems set up, and I have staff all set to help me intervene in people's lives. The lifestyle intervention programs to get people off the path of illness onto the path of wellness, and unfortunately insurance just isn't interested in, and I covered in the beginning of the talk, if you remember, why insurance is not interested in that. Second question people ask is, can I afford your program? We have a lot of single women, working moms and dads that are on the program, and we have financing things available, so we have a system that we have different levels of programs, so we have something to work for almost everybody. So the answer is yes. All right. So when you go see your doctor, how much does it cost?
$45.
Not your copay, but what's the real cost?
$200.
How much?
$200.
That's right. Nationwide, it's $200 to $300. And how long does your doctor spend with you?
5 years.
That was universal, not very long. All right. When you come into my office, how long should I spend with you?
Hopefully 30 minutes or more.
30 minutes or more. Whatever it takes. Somebody said that. That's exactly right.
The other thing is, when you go to the doctor, you go in for a specific reason, and if you have something else you want to discuss, you can't.
No. You
That's
get one
right.
complaint, reschedule, come back another time. That's the system. That's how the system works. And I hear that.
That's a problem.
Hear that
That's a
again and
major
again.
problem.
So when you come in and see me, I should spend whatever time it takes, and what should it cost you? Don't say free now, this is America, right?
It should be appropriate, but it shouldn't cost us an arm and a leg.
All right, so consultation, wellness evaluation, a plan of action. My usual charge for 1 hour consultation is $287. But for those of you who are here tonight, we discount that to $127. And if you come with a spouse or family member who also gets a consultation, it's just $47. And let me make one point of clarification. If you have a spouse or significant other, I want you to bring them in with you when you come. This is real important because we're going to discuss real life-changing things here. And you wouldn't want the spouse not to be there for us to come to conclusions that we need to come to. If your spouse or significant other has a consultation, they can get in for $47. And tonight, for those of you willing to sign up tonight, we're going to discount the cost down from $127 to $87, okay? Rewarding those of you who are willing to take action. Does that seem reasonable?
Yes.
All right, good. So that's it. I look forward to seeing you guys in the office. Thank you very much.
How much of your other doctor issues do you need to know about?
We'll
You
do
know, like you go to one doctor and they wanna see all the paperwork from all the doctors.
Right. If you have lab work available, that's recent lab work, I'd like for you to bring that. And some people have long illnesses and they have a bunch of paperwork. You can bring that if you want. We have an hour, so that's not a lot of time to get through a lot of paperwork. So if there's important things that I need to know in recent lab work, bring that. Otherwise, we'll take the history and we might get more information from you later if you need to. I'm going to be available for other questions. If you want to pick my brain and ask some questions, I'm just going to be hanging around over here for a little while. Be happy to answer any questions in
You know,
advance.
the other thing that's happening now is that direct physician care, and a lot of the physicians here in Abilene are doing that, where they're looking at the patients that they're having, and a whole bunch of them are nothing, I think they're doing it. And my doctor's doing it, so May 1st, so from May 1st to the middle of July,